coming to you from an otherworldly ream of love and cats. It's time for a bit of tea and telly. Pour a cup of positivity and say hello to your host, Maria.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for being here tonight. It is a night full of mystery. It's a mystery of what happened to my hairbrush, because what happened to my hairbrush. And also, I lost my intro for Mystery Night. It's just all becoming a mystery tonight. So it's perfect night for that. And also, little tip for y'all. When you're in the shower, like, don't inhale your shampoo because it hurts. It hurts. The back of my throat's hurting right now, guys. Okay, so anyway, it's good to see you all. Good to see you all tonight. I had to make sure I wasn't on mute. Half the show on mute. That's always fun. The GOAT Father. Hey, I did it. Thanks for being here tonight. Mr. Gary Ambrosia in the house. Miss Alicia, thank you. It's going to be a good show. Absolutely. And who else do we have with us here? The Lost Wanderer. Thanks for showing up tonight. And SP4H. I almost stumbled on that one. And PJ in the house. And we have, of course, Miss Louise Sparrow here. DJ, good to see you here. Dr. O, the creator of all my things good here. Thanks for helping me out tonight. You guys are so awesome. Stop smoking shampoo. Yeah, I know. It's not good because now I'm back and my throat hurts. Anyway, just tip for the day. Just don't do that. Anyway, let's get started because I'm excited about tonight's mystery night with my guest here, the ever so popular and good to have him with me, Mr. Gary Ambrosia.
Hail, how are you all?
Hey, thanks so much for joining.
Anytime.
Yeah, it's fun to have you here. I had to have you here to help me out with this because if anybody was going to make this fun and exciting, I knew you could do it with me. So,
all right.
And so what we're going to do tonight is, okay, so I was telling Gary, I went absolutely crazy putting all these clips together to find things that people have posted on YouTube that were kind of like mysterious and unexplained. And some of the stuff you might look at and you're like, whatever. But you always get both sides. And I'm kind of like one of those that... I don't completely believe it, but then there's that part of me that says, but, and so you might find a few of those tonight. We'll have to see. Gary hasn't seen them, so we're going to watch them. I'm going to show it to him together. Zax, thank you so much for being here. And so we're going to take a look at those because some of them were a little bit freaky, and even if they were staged, they were still kind of fun. So, you excited, Gary?
Oh, I am. Yeah. Very excited.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this. So, I was hoping everybody would... Oh, I can't do this without my spectacles. Okay. I wanted to see... Let me see. How many do we have in the house tonight? Okay, we got it good now. I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. Now, this is from a guy that even... Gary subscribes to. He's got a lot of subscribers, so I want to shout out his channel. And he is where's he at? Hang on. He's Slapped Ham. So you guys will probably want to check out his channel because he's got a lot of good stuff on there. I only picked one. It's an older one he did of the scariest ones that he kind of put together for, I think, year 2001. But I hadn't seen it, and it's good. So I'm going to start out with, let me share this. We are going to be watching this particular one. Now, there's a lot of them here, and I'm going to skip over a few of them, and I'm going to let him... Oh, did I put the audio in? Let me make sure I put the audio in just a second. 1 second. Make sure I added that audio. Share screen and my audio. There we go. okay, I got the audio. Because his commentary is pretty good. And he'll usually tell you where the videos were found and stuff. Now, in this particular one we're going to watch here, it is going to show some events that took place, reports from cab drivers that he came across. So let's take a look and see what happens here.
This next piece of CCTV footage uploaded to YouTube by Kaku seems to confirm chilling reports that taxi drivers in Japan are seeing ghosts during their shifts. In 2016, local Japanese newspaper, the Asahi Shimbun, ran an article that interviewed over 100 taxi drivers just after the devastating 2011 earthquake and tsunami that rocked Japan's Tohoku region. The article was titled, "In the Months After the Tsunami, Taxi Drivers Report Ghost Passengers." One taxi driver's account details a chilling fare that happened just weeks after the tsunami. A woman entered the vehicle and asked to go to Miyagi district. The driver had to explain that the town no longer existed and had been completely wiped out. When the driver looked in the back seat, the woman asked, "Have I died?" She then stepped out of the car and eerily walked off. Another driver claims that he picked up a man who was around 20 years old wearing a thick winter coat. The driver said he had had a strange feeling about the passenger, but nevertheless drove on. When they arrived at the destination, the driver pulled over, expecting his passenger to open the door and leave. The driver paused for a moment, turned and looked in the back seat. The young man was no longer there. With these reports in mind, this next piece of taxi dashcam footage from Japan becomes utterly chilling. In the footage, we see a taxi driver pull over to pick up a passenger. The door opens, however, nobody appears to get in. Despite this, the driver seemingly greets his passenger and continues his fare. There's clearly no one in the back seat as he pulls away. What happens next will give you the chills. Watch. As you can see, a dark shape begins to form in the middle seat. At first, it resembles a shadow. However, as the video continues, we can see that the shape actually has a ghostly white face. There are several strange things about this footage. Firstly, it seems as though the driver can actually see the entity, as at no stage during the clip does he appear alarmed. Also, the camera shows that the ghostly figure seems to intermittently disappear, then reappear as the journey continues. If you zoom in on the strange apparition, its face looks swollen, with one eye closed and one eye open. Here's another eerie piece of footage captured by a taxi dashcam in Japan. Here's another eerie piece of footage captured by a taxi dashcam in Japan.
Yeah. Okay. Pause that. So, yeah. Did I pause it? Is it paused?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, good. Okay. So, that is interesting. What's your take on that one?
Inconclusive. I mean, it's, the door opens, nobody gets in. The guy either doesn't realize that there's no one there or thinks that there is somebody there. What about the rest of the footage? There was nothing else after that, huh?
Just the shadowy figure from the back that you could see. Now, I know that in our, I think it was my science class where they always talked about that people will try to put pictures together that aren't there just to kind of try and explain things. But in this one, it kind of, I mean, they zoomed up to it and it kind of looked like something, but I'm, I, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
is it
I don't know about
possible?
that. Yeah, I don't know. The
What's
detail was a little. I don't think you would get that detail depending on. Well, I mean, depending on the camera, if you zoomed in on it, it's not really going to get that detailed. But
that detail?
it did look like maybe the Slapped Ham channel was using AI to enhance the detail in the film
The
in the
detail.
footage. So they could have done that.
Just before it says, and that was the very last time I drove a taxi.
Yeah, right.
I know. The thing is that, obviously sometimes in some of these videos, there's stuff going on and people are reacting to. We are watching it. We know what's going on, but that person at the time didn't.
Yeah.
Obviously, he commented that, he didn't realize there wasn't anybody in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see. Let's see. G-force. Thank you. Yeah. Did he tip the driver? He or she? It was a little bit freaky. Now I was watching this stuff like in the evening time in the dark, and it got a little creepier then. And actually, that was legit creepy with all the lights and shadows. Yeah, it would. It is. There's a lot of light and stuff going on there, so you don't know, but it is kind of impressive, I guess.
Yeah.
Just the door.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some other ones that are super good as well. Um, let me see. This one's good, and what's this one? I'm trying to see which one. And that one's boring because that was. Okay, this one was interesting, and let me get a little closer here.
Despite its cheery, bright appearance, the premises seems to have a sinister presence lurking within it. Mario has decided to set up some cameras and other equipment in order to get evidence of the shop's eerie haunting. In this clip, early in the evening, some strange activity begins to manifest. Watch what one of the cameras caught. Here we can already see things beginning to move as some items fall off the shelf, seemingly all on their own.
That kind of thing happened to me before, right behind me.
Oh my gosh,
Later
that's
in
kind of
the evening,
creepy.
as one of the
It was
investigators
horrifying.
decides to get
I
their
bet.
rest on the
That
sofa,
kind of thing happens.
something eerie happens in the background. Then, around 30 seconds later, this happens. As you can see, the TV slides across the floor towards the sleeping man.
You're not watching.
Right?
Not long after, the man is awoken by a loud banging noise. He jumps up and grabs a flashlight. When he notes the position of the TV, he seems perplexed. Next, we see footage of the investigator killing some time while playing a PlayStation VR. As his attention is fixated on the screen, something truly chilling happens in the background. Watch. A small, transparent form appears near the back of the room. Only its dark, short hair is distinctly visible as it moves in rapid blurs along the wall, staring at the man.
Come play with us, Danny. No, man. Not my
Right.
house.
I know. As
No, man. Not in my house. You get out, man. No way.
When the investigator later attempts to communicate with the entity, he hears strange sounds in response to his questions.
Si estás aquí conmigo, da una señal, haz un ruido.
Strange sounds in response to his
Que yo agradezco mucho. ¿Eres una mujer?
okay, so anyway, this hang on a second. Let me. So they do kind of go back and do a couple more things in there with that one. And I don't know, the guy's asking questions and is there somebody here? Are you mad or whatever? And they think it maybe was a kid who was, attached to this doll that was sitting there. Is this the one that's creepy? Okay. So, but I'm just like, the guy's like totally oblivious. He's all sawing logs and calling in the hogs. If I had heard that, it sounded like that you could hear the TV sliding on the floor. And I know a lot of times people are like, well, there's probably string and things like that. But there's a lot of videos where there's no way, how in the heck are they going to use string for stuff to pull the way they do? So I don't know. This one that's next is, I don't know if it's staged or not, but it was really creepy. So staged or not, it's still creepy. So I'm going to play this
strange one. TV to start operating too, because the guy's playing a PlayStation VR on a flat screen TV and this weird old tube television from the 1960s starts walking toward him and turns on.
Yeah. Just like it's like something out of a movie, I'm trying to think of what movie that was, but I'm just looking at the comments of people in here, seeing what they think. And SP4 is asking, one, grab flashlight and gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you use a light instead of turning on the light switch? I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know. I was wondering the same thing too.
It would blow out the night vision camera, I think.
Yeah, possibly so. Yeah. Okay. To do fixed camera, I don't have an account for.
That's correct. That is the skeptics is correct.
Yeah. Hey, Adega. Thanks for being here, watching all the craziness happen. And I see, people are brave when they ask these questions. When ask questions of anything, you ask a question and you kind of expect an answer, but when you get it, yeah, that's a whole different story.
It's totally different.
Totally different. So, I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to manipulate stuff to, I'm not that great. I don't know how these people would do it.
I like trouble, so I'd sit around in there and talk to it and make it angry and
Would you?
agitate it. Oh yeah, I would. I totally would. I'd make fun of it and I'd be like, "Come on, do it again," you know.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, I'd stir it up.
Why don't I doubt that? Is this the one where, okay, I want to show this one. I'm going to try to fast forward a little bit. But this one, like I said, it was creepy, but fake or not, I don't know. It was still kind of creepy. These guys are really known for going in these icky houses, and this guy's by himself, and the stuff that happens is kind of crazy. So
An old and rusty phone that looks like it dates back multiple decades abruptly begins to ring, startling the explorer. Then, just a minute or so later, another phone begins to ring. Much like the first time, the
now,
uploader
see,
makes
here's
the
where I'd
choice
be
not to
exiting,
answer,
but he's like,
probably
let's
a bit
check it
worried
out.
about what
Yeah.
he'll hear down the end of the line. A couple of minutes go by when yet another phone starts to ring. This time, they decide to answer.
Yeah, pick it up.
An eerie tune plays through the phone.
And it has to be that creepy music.
Yeah, of course. It sounds like a organ at a, merry-go-round or something, Yeah, yeah.
As the investigation continues, more and more unnerving things begin happening. Take a look. Watching that again, a chair begins to move all on its own, and drawers suddenly start flying out of their place.
I could just see you, Gary. Come on, what else you got?
Yeah.
That's
Is that
nothing.
all? Really? I can push a chair around.
It's always a chair too, huh? The chairs in the
Yes,
purse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't don't know. What do you think of this one? This
You
one's,
know,
I mean,
honestly, Maria, this one looks a little too well cinematically planned out and moving from beat to beat, you know, and it's very well filmed.
yeah,
You know, I don't know. I'm not really buying this one.
I know. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the guy's way too calm.
Eventually,
Oh,
I mean-
totally. I mean, most people would be losing their minds if it would not. This footage wouldn't exist.
Right. There's no way.
Yeah.
Because even, I mean, even those that go sending a lot, if they hear a little something, they're like freaking out.
They're out. They're out the door. Yeah.
They're out the door. You got a
Yeah.
phone ringing, and then you pick it up, and there's some creepies, and it's just perfect how it's that really creepy music
Yeah,
that comes from a scary movie.
To be this calm in a situation like that, it takes a borderline sociopath to not
Yeah.
run out the door.
To not
You
run out
have
the
to
door.
be able to completely just be like, well, you know, whatever's happening, I guess this is it. No, these people are. I think that this is staged.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
thought so
personal
too.
opinion.
But it was, yeah, it did
Yeah.
seem very staged. It was well done, though. I have to say
It
that.
was very well done. Yeah,
was
it's too
well
well done.
done.
I think that's what doesn't sell it.
Yeah,
So they did a good job, but
a little
it's,
bit too
you know,
well done.
Yep.
Let's see. You had some stories about something, right?
Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier about things falling, you know, off of a shelf right in your presence. I was at a building in England, in the city of London, and the building was over 450 years old, and I was staying in a very small room on the top floor, and there was, you know, it was a very old building. It had not been updated or anything. It still had some of the old beam, you know those kind of like everything's made out of giant kind of beams that are stuck in the wall, and everything's plastered in between the beams.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it kind of looks like, you know, it's like 17th century or something like that. But there were new shelves that were installed on the walls, individual shelves. They're not together. You know, they're just like one shelf stuck on the wall above the other, and it was full of items and books and stuff like that. And the 1 second from the top, everything completely came off the shelf and fell down in front of me.
Oh my gosh.
Just the one, not the
That was
5
it.
below it, not the one above it. Just that shelf, everything dumped off, and I'm like,
Oh, man.
all right, hi, hello, you're here, whoever you are. that was terrifying.
Oh, man.
That really yeah. And then there was another incident where I was washing dishes in that same little kitchenette in that same room, and there was a little brass frog, and it was sitting on the windowsill right in front of me as I'm washing dishes, and it fell off into the sink, and I put it back up, and it kept falling off. So I picked it up and I stuck it on the windowsill, and I stopped everything I was doing. I stared at it, and I watched it fall right off into the sink
Oh, my
again. And I'm like,
gosh.
okay. I was not imagining things. I actually saw that happen. I put it there, watched it for a second, and then it fell off. So
Oh,
yeah,
my
I've,
gosh.
I've seen these kind of things before, and it's a weird, strange feeling. Some of this stuff does actually happen. But,
Yeah. I mean, and you just, I don't know what it is about. I mean, that feeling that where the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and your heart rate goes up, and you're just like, I mean, what do you do?
Something's
I
going
mean,
on.
Something's
Yeah.
going on. And, you know, for people who've never experienced that, I could see where they're like, yeah, well, there's no such thing, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what maybe closes it off to the ability for people to have the ability to experience something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, because some people will find an explanation for pretty much everything,
It's
and
true.
sometimes it helps us,
Right.
you know, to process things.
A lot of people feel the need to explain everything in their life. They can't deal with psychologically the fact that there's something that they can't explain. I don't think about that at all. The first thing I know is I know nothing. So anything could be happening.
Right.
So really, I'm open to anything pretty much. I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of wacko stuff, and you know, I am not arrogant enough to say, well, that's definitely this or that's definitely that.
Yeah.
But I know when I'm looking at footage and I say, well, that's pretty composed. I can see that, you know, the guy's going from here, and then the next cue is the drawer, and then the drawer comes out, but he was already there ready for it to go, you know.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah, that's true too. It
Yeah.
happens to be perfectly filmed. Like
Yeah.
if he had maybe hesitated just a little bit,
Right, something. Let the drawer
something.
react to, let something happen, and then you go to it, and then something else happens, or that's how I
Yeah,
would have done it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see. There's another one here. One second that I liked. It was pretty good.
Do you know about the Hat Man, Maria?
The Hat Man. I don't think so. I know this one talks a lot about the shadow people, but I don't know about
Well,
the
let's
Hat
go to
Man.
that. That sounds intriguing.
Is what did I pass it up here? What is it?
I don't know.
There's a shadow people.
There you go.
Well, let me see. There was a different shadow one too. Now this guy sounds like he's a little hang on. This thing trying to process here.
Telepathy to communicate with the man.
If you have to be that loud, I just know it's so loud.
Others have said it sounds like the man's mentally ill and is talking to himself, as though suffering from schizophrenia. It's almost as though we're privy to a hallucination that this man's experiencing.
I did it. So
Then there's the Shadow Man theory. Some say this footage is proof that shadow people exist. The concept of shadow people is a scary phenomenon that thousands of witnesses all around the world have reported. Those who have experienced encounters with so-called shadow people say they live in our periphery, dark entities that hide on the fringe of reality. Some victims of this phenomenon say that shadowy beings watch them during episodes of sleep paralysis. The sufferers report being awake yet unable to move. It's at this point a dark, shadowy figure will crawl into their rooms and watch them, completely paralyzed, unable to run or defend themselves. The scary thing is, this same experience has been reported by thousands of people all around the world. So could there be shadowy entities living among us? This video seems to suggest that shadow people do indeed exist.
no, don't. It's not my name. It's not. Just
I think I try to understand sleep paralysis. Like, are we in that middle stage of dreaming still, and we think it's really happening? Um, I've definitely experienced some things where I've felt somebody sitting on my bed and holding me down, and I couldn't get up, and I couldn't scream, and I couldn't move. But scientists would probably say that's just me. My Some part of me is awake, the other part of me is not, and that's why you can't move. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to get into with this Hat Man thing. Well, I'll start the story off. I was scanning through, bizarro documentaries, at 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm into that kind of thing, especially when it's dark and Bethany's asleep. I can watch super scary, traumatic, crazy UFO ghost story type documentaries. I found this one I think it's called The Hat Man. It was made in 2019. It's very hard to find. It's not available now on the streaming service, but it talked about how people would see. It was in the middle of well, they were trying to wake up, and they're stuck in sleep paralysis. They can't move, and they look down at the end of their bed, or they look at their wall or something, and there's this man standing there with a hat and these bright eyes, and it's just horrifying. The weird thing about it is that they all, like, people from all over the world, people who have no association with each other, they say they see the same thing. And the thing that affected me was that I saw that when I was 14 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I darn near had an out-of-body experience when they described what this thing was, and that other people around the world had seen it, because when I was 14 years old, this thing was standing at the foot of my bed.
Ew.
So it's a weird phenomena. If everybody, all these people were seeing the same image. People were doing drawings. People are going to like their therapist or something, and you see drawings of this thing, and they all look the same. So there's something weird going on there. I don't know what it is, but that was the bizarre takeaway that I had from the documentary, was that I had the experience, and that many other people have had it. So
Well, yeah, seeing like me watching it, I'd be like, "Oh my God, that's crazy." But in your case, you're like, "Oh my God, that actually happened."
yeah,
And then to maybe have some kind of, where there's a name for it. There's other people who've experienced it, and
yeah.
so there's something to it.
And the animation in the documentary got the look perfectly right.
Oh
They
wow,
do like a
yeah.
reenactment of what people
Hmm.
were seeing, and it was horrifying to me, because that's what it looked like.
Oh wow,
It was really
that's
terrifying. It
scary.
was you should check it out. You should check
I'm
that
gonna have to.
documentary out.
I'm gonna have to look
I'll send
that
it to
up.
you. I have it.
Yeah,
I'll
do
send it to you.
that. I'd like to see it. I'm interested in seeing it. There was another one in here, kind of similar, to that effect of the. I think is this next one. This next one that talks about that kind of like shadowy kind of figure. Let me see if it's kind of similar to what you're talking
He
about
put his
here.
finger to his lips and told her to shush. Unable to move, Christina could do nothing but watch this strange man staring at her. 6 hours later, she woke up ill and violently threw up. There was no sign of an intruder, and the door was still double locked. Startled, Christina called her boyfriend to explain what had happened. He thought perhaps she had suffered an episode of sleep paralysis and that the man was just a hallucination. The following night, Christina had a dream that a man was on fire floating just outside her hotel window. She woke with a fright just as the phone in her room rang. It was her boyfriend in hysterics, saying that he had just had a dream that someone broke into her hotel room and did awful things to her. Freaked out, Christina grabbed her keys and left the room. She slept in her car for a few hours till the sun came up. Wanting to leave immediately, Christina headed back to the hotel to grab her things and drive home. When she arrived back at the hotel, it appeared as though the door to her room had been tampered with. The window was wide open and a few of her things were missing. She rang her boyfriend to explain what had happened and to thank him for calling the previous night. Otherwise, she may have stayed in the room for the entire evening. Confused, her boyfriend said that he didn't call her. They both checked their call history list, and sure enough, no calls were made. Christina doesn't know how to explain what happened that night in room 313. In order to see for themselves how truly haunted the room is, the paranormies decided to check into the hotel for the night to conduct a series of experiments. And as you'll see, things get increasingly more terrifying as the night goes on. During one section of the video, the team sets up a doll that's motion activated, having just changed the batteries.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward a little bit till they get to the other stuff here. They're just testing a doll here.
The crew decides to bring an SLS device.
But there's, oops, let's see.
That is really creepy.
Yeah, I'm looking behind there. It's
They got these new crazy like gadgets now, the ghost hunters. Like they have this one in some of these episodes where they ask questions and it actually translates or something.
Spread them
I'm
across the
like,
hotel
okay,
room, and sure
they're getting all
enough, one of
fancy.
them turns on.
Okay, let's see.
Sorry, I was muted. I've used one of those things before, and I've had a pretty interesting result.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think they're using it in this.
Although he didn't notice it at the time, if you look closely, you can see that Jordan doesn't have a reflection in the mirror when he walks by.
Heavy.
At first, you might think it's just the angle the camera's on. However, just moments later, another member of the team walks by the mirror and clearly has a reflection.
I'm not exactly sure where it's coming from. It almost sounds like, yeah, like water.
The camera's showing the exact same angle as before. Later that night, while the crew members are sleeping, their REM pod and K2 devices proceed to give them an unexpected wake-up call. While these devices being set off is creepy enough, something else happens in the room that is a little more unsettling. Let's watch it again, but this time keep an eye on the right of frame. As you can see, a shadowy figure seems to get on top of Jordan on the right. So given Christina's first-hand account and the bizarre video evidence...
Yeah, those shadowy figures.
Yeah, it's hard to believe video footage of that kind of thing, especially something when a camera's locked off. Because like Time Prophet's saying in the chat, it's pretty easy to modify a video image now with that. So we have to go beyond that, at this point. It has to be that plus testimony plus, a shaky camera angle, ironically, is kind of the thing we look for now for realism, because it's very difficult to modify an image that's moving around.
Right.
But the problem is, if the image is moving around, it's very difficult to make out what the heck we're seeing.
I know. Well, and I thought that too, because there's another video here I'm going to go through. This one was kind of creepy, but wow, that's weird. There's one where there is shaking. The person's running with the camera, and you kind of wonder, is it possible for them to manipulate this? Let me see. That one. This one was kind of interesting. Let's see.
In one YouTube video uploaded by Bush Ting, we get a glimpse of not just one bizarre incident, but several haunting occurrences. The CCTV footage shows the interior of a workspace. For the first 10 seconds or so, all seems normal. Then, all of a sudden, the door in the background of the workspace seems to move all on its own.
The door opens.
The woman working looks over for a few moments before going back to her task. Soon after, something frightening happens. Watch.
Okay, here it is.
The woman reacts as if something touched her.
What were you thinking in that moment?
If we rewatch the footage and zoom in, we can see that the woman's hair moves as if something touches it.
That's weird.
The woman
Yeah,
jumps up in
that was
response,
weird.
feeling her hair and looking around. She then leaves the room.
How long did you stay out of the room?
She's like, bye.
Yeah. Goes out the
Video
door
then
that was
cuts to
opening on
another
its own.
security camera in a different location.
Right.
A worker enters the room and begins to shift through some items off camera. Now keep an eye on the wheelchair.
This is insane.
You can see that the wheelchair seems to move all on its own.
He's like, whatever, it's my lunchtime.
The man turns
So
around and
that's
pulls the
kind of
wheelchair out the
one
way,
thing I had,
seemingly
you
unaware
know,
of what's just happened.
like watching her hair move like that, and she did genuinely seem to respond.
Yeah.
Then cuts back to
Like
the first
if,
camera
like
angle.
if you know
Lights
the
It
way she
sounds like
jumped
in the
up.
background too of the original footage that they were
In the bottom
talking
right of
to the
frame,
woman.
We can see something strange appear.
Well,
So
it's funny because the person who's showing the video is talking to this lady, asking
Yeah.
her, "What were you thinking at the time? What was going on here?" So they're watching it kind of together.
That isn't me. I'm not even on my phone. I'm watching TV. You can watch something on the.
see, that kind of thing is more convincing if we are
Couple
able
of
to
seconds
talk
later,
to
the
that
woman
lady
points to
and
one
be
of the
like, "What
computer
happened? I
screens,
don't know what
and
happened.
both she
She's
and the
like,
other employee
touched
stand
me,
up
you know.
and turn around.
Yeah, because they actually do look a little scared.
Oh, yeah.
What happens in this set
They
of
were
video
watching the
clips?
camera and they
No
saw something behind them.
explanation's
That's
been
why they
given
both
to
got
make
up and
sense of
looked at,
these
like,
eerie
what the heck's
events.
behind us.
Could it be that a ghostly presence haunts
But
this
yeah,
particular
that one would be
workspace?
kind of hard
And if
to,
so, what's its purpose in
I don't
doing
know,
so?
to fake a little bit.
Unfortunately,
It
until
would
more
be,
information
because
comes to
if they
hand,
didn't
this
know about
mysterious
it,
clip will have to remain an enigma.
if they didn't know that, you know, if it was kind of set up kind of like a candid camera but like a haunted version, how do you get her hair to move? Well, how I would do it if we were filming it, I would just shoot a blast of air at her, but they're going to hear that on the set. You can't do that by being quiet. So if
For
she's
nearly
telling
a
the
year,
truth,
TikTok
that's very
user
strange.
Josiah Worley has been reporting
Yeah,
paranormal
it is.
activity in his apartment.
Now
He
this one
claims
I
that some kind
had,
of presence is making itself
I don't
known.
know, I was
Eerie
kind of back and
sounds,
forth
moving
with this
objects, and
one
strange shadows have been
because
reported on the
if
property.
stuff was
The
happening
landlord
the
has
way
even
that's
stated that
happening to
previous
this guy,
tenants have left scared because
there's
of
no
the
way. There's
inexplicable
no way I would
occurrences.
have lasted.
One question only.
I would have.
None.
Am I safe?
I'd be living there all the time. I'd be charging people to come in.
There are dozens and dozens of clips
Because
demonstrating
he
what appears to
actually
be supernatural activity.
stays, but also talks to and encourages. I'm
In this
like,
clip,
what?
we can see some of the activity that has led Worley to believe his apartment is haunted. Take a look.
Who's still there?
Immediately, we hear Worley ask if the presence is still there. We then see a chair fall over, seemingly on its own. Worley continues to ask if there's anything there.
Still here?
I'd teach him how to bring me a sandwich.
In another clip,
If you're
Worley is
there,
asking the presence
cut
to
off
turn
the
light
crust.
off when
Right. No
he-
onions.
As you can see, a candle on the coffee
Oh,
table
where's
slides
the
right
remote?
off.
Can you change
There
the
doesn't
channel for
appear
me?
to be
Because
anything
like,
causing the movement.
don't feel like getting up right
Worley
now.
then comments on the naysayers in his audience.
Yeah, he's trying to convince his viewers that it's
He
not
lifts the
fake.
candle up,
Yeah.
proving that there's
And-
no wires or strings attached. In yet another clip, Worley claims he was awoken by someone calling his name.
Literally hear a can getting knocked over? No? That's just me?
Let's fast forward it a little
That's
bit
when
more.
more activity is caught on camera. Take a look.
Please knock over the cups. Oh,
As you can see, a bag falls off the table, seemingly on its own.
oh, you
Yeah.
saw that. You saw that.
In this final video, you can tell Worley's wits are pushed to their limits. He seems on edge. He begins by explaining that a closet door
At
is
one point, he
open for
gets,
no reason.
I don't know, he sounds like he's getting mad.
This closet's open. Why? Why? I swear to God.
He then points out that a previously unknown crawl space has opened up on the
Oh,
other side of the room.
Also,
Let's see what's inside.
No thanks.
Moments later,
I know, right?
I'm in one of these rooms. Come and find me.
Uh-huh.
if you take another
No, I'm
look,
good.
you can hear the door slam behind him.
I know, right?
He goes to
Oh,
investigate.
man.
I know.
Okay, try me, bro. What's good?
And
Yeah.
this is what gets me. The guy
It's
goes
clear that there's
in
no
the
one in the
closet and
small
shuts the
closet.
door on
So
the
how
other
did the
side.
door slam?
No, thank you.
I'm in the closet.
I saw, what's it,
What's good? What's good, bro?
too many movies where they end
As
up
we
getting
mentioned,
locked in there
on
for a
Worley's
few
TikTok
hours.
account, there is a huge collection of videos that all document alleged paranormal activity.
All right.
So like, have you ever gone into some homes just to see what you could find?
No, not really. Everything
No.
just kind of found me. I mean, I walked into the Tower of London on the same trip, and I felt like someone was suffocating me. I had to leave the room,
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, everything was fine when I left the room. somebody later told me that was the room where many of Henry the Eighth or Henry the Fifth or Henry the Eighth's wives were murdered.
Oh
So I was
gosh.
like, wow, okay.
So they're like, man in the house, get him
Yeah,
out.
yeah, choke his ass.
Yeah,
Which they did.
no kidding.
Yeah, I
Oh,
ran the hell
God.
out of that room. But
Yeah,
yeah,
a messy roommate ghost.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
That doesn't know how to make a sandwich
I
properly.
know. Dang it. I know that's what gets me about half of these people that film their stuff. Their place is a mess, and I'm sitting there going, "Which clean your house, man." No wonder ghosts are mad.
Right.
You keep a messy house. Let me see. There was one what I was trying to talk about here. Here's more of the shadow figures. That's that machine he's using. I kind of can't find. Maybe it was on another one he did. But oh well, we're getting close to time anyway. But yeah, so this guy's got some pretty interesting stuff here. A lot of subscribers, people are enjoying it, obviously. But I don't know. This stuff's fascinating because I try to keep my mind open in that things are definitely possible, but I don't like when people try to mess with your head and fake it because I don't know what the point of that is.
Right. Well, it's for attention and for monetary gain. But I mean, if you dig deep enough, you'll find some pretty bizarre things.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I was telling you earlier, Dan Aykroyd has the actor. He has a YouTube channel, and he talks about on the channel some of his paranormal experiences, and he's a believer for certain.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can find. Slapped Ham's an okay channel. This video, I've seen better videos that he's done than this one, but I tell you that Hat Man documentary is pretty terrifying.
I have to watch that one.
It's really mortifying. It was horrifying to me because it actually happened to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you weed through the people that are doing this for monetary gain, you'll find a few good ones.
And there have been a lot of celebrities that have come forward and some stuff. I think I was watching one where it was about time travel, and the kind of the common ones that you see where they're showing somebody from the 20s and somebody's walking by and it looks like they're talking on a cell phone.
Right.
Charlie
Chaplin film.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson came on with a bunch of other guys talking about that. One of the guys brought it up and says, "Hey, man, there's like this conspiracy thing going on with one of your classic videos where somebody was. This was like way before iPhones, and they showed the clip of somebody in there. Did you see that?
Somebody in the boxing match, somebody in the crowd is holding up like a cell phone filming it, but there's no. It was like the late 80s, early 90s or something like that.
Yeah.
And it didn't exist. Yeah.
It didn't exist.
Yeah.
And there's another one
That's
where there was some, I think it was a runner or somebody else it had won some medal or something. There's a media and there's somebody on the bottom down there holding up a cell phone.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the heck? So, I mean, some of them are kind of interesting. I don't know. But I definitely am open-minded into there is definitely some things that happen that we're just not aware of. Maybe we're not meant to see it because we don't know how to handle it. I don't know.
Well, real quickly, I just recently came across a video that a guy was talking about how have you ever seen those old crappy Windows screensavers with the 4-dimensional objects that kind of look like they're turning inside out?
Yeah.
Well, those are real 4-dimensional objects. And you and I cannot see them for how they really look.
Mm-hmm.
Because we live in a 3-dimensional space, but we see on a 2-dimensional computer screen, they're trying to show us a 4-dimensional object.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now because of virtual reality, because of VR goggles, this guy created software where you can go into VR and you can view a 4-dimensional object in real 3-dimensional space.
Oh, wow.
So I have not been able to access this video because I really want to see what this thing looks like.
Mhm.
But he says I now have a better understanding of how to properly view this thing. Because I'm viewing it in 3-dimensional space rather than looking at it on a 2-dimensional screen.
Right.
So who knows what we can't see
Yeah.
around us? Who knows?
Yeah, I definitely believe that too. There's so much energy. I mean, look at I always wondered how energy was created in the first place. Somebody figured out how it moves and how it's what makes it work, what makes it do things. And there's so much energy just in, I mean, the space that we're walking in. And energy, I believe, also can act as a recorder of some sort. And
Totally. I don't know if you know about this, but if you have a certain little piece of very simple electronic technology and you hook it up to a frequency generator, you can sprinkle salt on top of that little piece of metal on top of this thing, and if certain frequencies will generate perfect geometric shapes in the salt. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know how. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to order one of these things on Amazon because
Like,
I
I
really
need
want to
to-
sit and play with this thing. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
different frequencies that you set this thing to will create shapes.
And how does it know to do that?
It doesn't, Maria. I don't know. I have no
That's
idea.
crazy.
But that's a real thing. You know, Tesla always said everything is frequency.
Yes.
Everything is energy and frequency, and it's constantly shifting and changing. It never goes away. It never dies. It just transforms.
Yeah.
But these things are able to sonically create through whatever frequency they're generating on a flat plane geometric shapes, and it'll go from one to another. Circular, hexagonal, star-shaped, and you can watch it happen in real time as you adjust the frequency. I've never even. How do you even begin to think about something like that?
How that happens, I don't know. I love that we're curious. I love people that get curious, who are open-minded, who have the ability to be curious enough to figure out how things work instead of just completely dismiss everything. Because when you dismiss everything, I think we can't learn from that. I would love to know if there's more out there. And I think that's what I also keep searching for, things to figure out how we can communicate with each other and, just learn. And so these are kind of fun though, too. So when you get that, you'll have to show it to me. I'm kind of curious too.
Yeah.
To see it.
I really want to play with this thing. I have a giant Tesla coil. And I play with that a lot. That's a lot of fun. I break it out for Halloween.
Heard anybody put it that way before.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. It's super incredibly dangerous. It'll you're dead meat if you're within 6 feet of it. But it is the most fascinating thing in the world to watch, and it's all done by frequency.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, guys out there, I hope you enjoyed this. When I start looking like an Oompa Loompa, that means it's probably getting darker. So, thank you, Gary, for joining me in this.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
It's fun. I hope it was. And I'm going to go digging for more stuff and see what else we can find out there. If you guys have anything that you've come across, let me know. I'd like to see it. And I would like to see the hat thing that you're talking about, Gary.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you a whole bunch of stuff.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And, I need my glasses. Time, you're interesting. God. Right. Okay. Nice tip. Okay, guys. Thanks so much. You guys, I'm going to head out and have a fabulous, wonderful evening and be good to each other.
Bye, guys.
Right, take care.
Saying, love her if you wanna go, I'm down.